Hi, Archie Luxury channel, and today I want to put it on the table today. Is IWC a shitter brand? Now, this has been really thrusted out there because of my recent acquisition of an IWC Ingenieur. This piece here has caused so much trouble with the viewers and fans. So, to answer the question, is this piece here a shitter or not? That's what we want to discuss. And I gotta tell you, IWC itself is a highly respected brand of luxury wrist watches. There's a bit more substance to the brand than pure marketing hype. IWC has been producing watches for a long period of time. And the boys at Schaffhausen, they know a good thing when it's out there. IWC has been a very, very big player in the luxury scene. A lot of enthusiasts love the brand. There are some sticking points with IWC, which a few brands do also suffer. IWC themselves there are not the only ones who are guilty of using other people's movements. Now, let's go back in watchmaking. Let's go watchmaking 50s and 60s. So many brands used movements from movement supply houses. In fact, Zenith is one example of a brand which sold movements to Rolex and Valjoux. Valjoux sold movements to many big players. You know those rare Paul Newman Daytonas? 6263s, those sort of rare plastic things which are unattainable. They got a Valjoux 727 movement in them. So it wasn't a big sin to do that. Lemania used to supply complicated movements to Patek Philippe. Look in a 80s or 90s Patek Philippe catalog. Models like the 3970, that's a perpetual calendar chronograph, feature a Novo Lemania movement. So many brands did this. In recent times, it's become untrendy to have a reliance on Valjoux or ETA. And it's caught a few players out. Brands like Breitling, brands like IWC. And you gotta say, does that make the watch a shitter if it uses a movement maker? And this is the question. I don't think it's the final nail in the coffin for the brand. However, IWC itself there as a brand does suffer because of it. The resale value on some of the pieces is not as hot as Rolex. That's correct. So, what do I think of IWC? Well, I personally think the brand, its placement in this pyramid, I think IWC is a brand which has a very specialized niche. They are in the steel sports genre. They've got some incredible icons. The Portuguese IWC chronograph, the Big Pilot. These are legendary watches with real substance. IWC made pilots' watches for the Luftwaffe. That's the German army, the Nazis. As well as some other brands. Lange did. Leico made some. IWC. IWC is probably one of the rarer ones. But these were makers for military purpose. So IWC itself there, is it a shitty brand or is it a good brand? What is the scope and what is the go? Well, nothing's perfect in this world here. Nothing is perfect. And I gotta tell you, brands like Breitling, they also have been criticized for the same reason. The reliance on value type movements. But the reality is these brands, although we can criticize them, they are real brands. They do have some real substance. They are not just a new brand. IWC itself there has a long history of producing really groundbreaking stuff. Did you know the Ingenieur came out 2 years before the Milgauss? Many, many wonderful things came from IWC. And I gotta tell you, is IWC a shitter? No, it's not a shitter brand. Is Breitling a shitter brand? No, no, no. Because there is real horological substance to the brand. They've been out for the long haul. They make an excellent watch. This watch, in my opinion, bullshit aside, persona aside, I think the quality of this piece here, the case finishing, the way the design is executed, is on par with AP. The dial, on par with AP. Just the whole way the piece is designed and done. The hand, the design, the anti-glare coating. It's a very, very much a purist, a watch purist, watch connoisseurs type of watch. I gotta tell you, what made me fall in love with this watch here was that a good friend of mine, Scott, he told me the story. He originally went to buy an Explorer 1. Then he bought the Deep Sea. And eventually he changed it for a GMT. But he also discovered IWC. And this was the brand that really his love for watches came from. This was even before his Rolex plunder. And he spent long and hard looking at different models. And the 322701, which is this model here, is the one he fell in love with. And I mean, when someone really tracks down, you know, this is the game we play as watch collectors. What do we like? What do we think? When you're at work, surfing the net. When you're at work, on company time, surfing the net, looking at what if. This is what came up for Scotty. And that's a really cool way to go. I really admire that. And I've got to tell you, wristwatches themselves, they're fantastic toys to collect. And IWC is one of those brands there. I'm Archie Luxury. This has been a discussion. Please put some comments in the description. Put some comments down below and tell me what you fuckers think of that. Cut!